All right, good afternoon, and this is the continuation part of the second subtopic of the chapter Glimpses of India, second subtopic being Coorg. The previous video has come to an abrupt end without me completing the chapter, as due to some technical error, the video got cut short midway and I was only able to upload a certain portion of it. All right, so from where we left off in the previous video, I am trying to continue from there. So for that, you need to turn to page 92, wherein the line begins. Numerous walking trails in this region are a favorite with trekkers. So Coorg, the narrator, tells us that it changes you, all right? Even if you are a very laid back kind of a person, a very relaxed kind of a person, it will bring out the adventure enthusiast in you, and it will make you enjoy all the facilities that it has in terms of adventure sports like rafting, canoeing, rappelling, rock climbing, and mountain biking as well. And not only that, it has something for nature lovers as well. Things such as birds, bees, butterflies are there to give you company. Macaws, Malabar squirrels, langurs, and slender lories keep a watchful eye from the tree canopy. I do, however, prefer to step aside for wild elephants. The climb to the Brahmagiri hills brings you to a panoramic view of the entire misty landscape of Coorg. A walk across the rope bridge leads to the 64-acre island of Nisargadaama, running into the Buddhist monks from India's largest Tibetan settlement at near Gyalakpi is a bonus. The monks in red, ochre, and yellow robes are amongst the many surprises that wait to be discovered by visitors searching for the heart and soul of India right here in Coorg, right? So this is basically, sorry. So this is basically what the chapter talks about. It introduces to you a place called Coorg, which lies in between Mysore and the coastal town of Mangalore, all right? From what the narrator describes about the weather of the place, it seems it shares very similar features with us, as well as the tourist season out here lasts from September till March, as well as the monsoons dissuade tourists from visiting us. And other than that, it has vast plantations of coffee, all right? And the things that set it aside from the rest of India. See, there are so many states in India, and the narrator who has compiled this chapter, they could have taken up any state, all right? But he has chosen these three particular states. One was Goa, one was Coorg, and the next one which we'll be doing is Assam. So the reason why he chose Coorg is because the common thread between the first and the second, I find, is that they both had foreign influence. The first part, A Baker from Goa, it talks about how it has Portuguese influence. The second chapter, Coorg, which we're doing right now, it talks about how it is heavily influenced, or rather how the people are descendants of Greeks or Arabs. And how did the Greeks and Arabs come about this place? It is when Alexander was on a world conquering spree, and some of those army regiments might have landed at Coorg and they couldn't return back. So they settled there, all right? They married the locals, they had children there, they follow their own traditions. And what they set them aside is that all the things that they do, all right, the customs and the traditions that they follow, they are a bit different from the Hindu traditions, all right? The dress that they wear, it resembles more like the dress of the Arabs and the Kurds rather than any of the Indian costumes that we know or are aware of. Other than that, the people of Coorg are known for their bravery, all right? They are very brave. In fact, the most decorated Indian general Karyappa was a Coorgi. And one very unique thing about this place is that Coorg is the only place in India where you are allowed to carry firearms without a license. Nowhere along the rest of India are you allowed to carry any sort of firearms, all right, without a license. Even if you do want to carry a firearms with a license, it has a very hard process, and a number of facilities has to be fulfilled before you are even allowed to have a licensed firearm. And in such a place, here is a small place in India called Coorg where you are allowed to carry firearms. Other than that, it has a rich flora and fauna all around as well, because it talks about forests, it talks about animals, and it even talks about adventure sports, a lot of adventure sports. It talks about lying in line with nature, and it even makes a mention of Buddhist monks, the Tibetan monks who have settled there as well. All right, so this is the place called Coorg, a place that lies in between Mysore and the coastal town of Mangalore. Now, when you come to page 92, there are a few questions which you'll come across towards the end. That is, where is Coorg? All right, and it doesn't take any genius to answer that. It's in the very beginning of the chapter itself. Midway between Mysore and the coastal town of Mangalore lies Coorg. Second is, what is the story about the Kodavu people's descent? That they are the descendants of Arabs and Greeks. And you know how the Arabs and Greeks came to settle down at Coorg as well. What are some of the things you now know about? All right, so now that you have read about Coorg, what are some of the things that you know about the following? Number one is the people of Coorg. Now, for the people of Coorg, we know a lot of things. We know that they are very brave. All right, they are the only people in the whole of India who are allowed to carry firearms without a license. Other than that, they are also descendants of the Greeks and the Arabs. And the main crop of Coorg, obviously, coffee plantation. It's given in the very beginning of the chapter itself. And the sports it offers to tourists, adventure sports, cycling, biking, rock climbing, canoeing, rappelling, river rafting. So all these things come under sports as well. The animals that you're likely to see in Coorg, and animals too, macaws, Malabar squirrels, langurs, slenders, so on and so forth. So all the questions that you see here, these are very simple questions, all right? One, if you are able to go through the chapter once and go through the summary which I'll be providing to you as well, then you shouldn't have any problem answering any of the questions as well. But that doesn't mean that you may not encounter any sort of problem. Right? There may come a point, a time where you get confused, all right, about the answer. So when such a time arrives, you let me know, all right? You call me up, you message me, you have my number, and then you clarify your doubts before you attempt the questions. And please don't get into the habit of getting the note copy of someone who has completed the work on their own and copying it down. That is not going to help you in the long run. All right, these are very simple things. I've been doing this line by line. I've been explaining everything to you. I've been discussing the question and answers as well. So if you feel that there is still help, all right, required for you to answer any of these questions, then you please let me know and I'll help you with the answers. Fine. So for today, we have completed the second part of the 7th chapter, Glimpses of India, part 2, subtitled Coorg. And tomorrow we'll move on to the third part, that is titled Tea from Assam. Now, again, for now, I just want you to read the chapter and go through the question and answers, all right? And attempt the question and answers as well. That's it. Don't attempt any of the grammar questions. That we'll be doing later on. For grammar questions, like I said, I'll be holding a separate class altogether. So don't worry about that part. For now, just concentrate on the literature part. You read the chapter and you try and attempt the questions. All right? All right, so I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.